to another episode of DCS Chronicles. Today, our focus is to thrive forward with purpose. I am your host, Nicolay Gunn. It's been a tough, very rough few weeks. Hurricane Melissa tested every part of who we are, our strength, our patience, and our spirit. But if there's one thing these days have reminded us of, it's this. We are resilient. Resilient students, resilient families, resilient people. We bend, but we do not break. Yes, you heard me. We bend, but we do not break. As we clean up, support one another, and put these pieces of our lives back together, school continues. Classes go on, and of course, assignments and exams are still ahead. They're due. Those 1159s, they're back. They're back. And you know what? We'll finish very strong. It's just another semester, not a regular one, but I know that we're resilient enough to break through it. Yeah? Today's episode is all about tapping into that resilience, not just to survive this moment, but to thrive as we move forward. Here are a few reminders as we head into exam season and wrap up our coursework. Number 1, give yourself grace. These past weeks were anything but normal. If you're feeling tired, overwhelmed, or behind, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. Number 2, take it step by step, one step at a time. Don't stare at the mountain. Focus on the next step. One chapter, one revision, or one assignment at a time. I know it's hard. Trust me, I do. I'm also a student. But we will get through it. I just have that feeling that we will get through it, especially to my DCSers and just students who are listening and anybody who is listening, really. We'll get through it. All right? But with that said, it's now time to have a word from the Daily Reflections.
Hello, and welcome to Daily Reflections, where we pause for a moment to refresh our hearts with God's promises. I'm Prince Hartley. Our scripture comes from Isaiah 43, verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. After Hurricane Melissa, many of us are still processing fear, the damage, or the uncertainty it left behind. But this verse reminds us that even in the storm, God never steps away. He is present, protecting, guiding, and carrying us through what feels overwhelming. There's a story of a woman from St. Mary who lost most of her belongings during Hurricane Beryl in 2024. For a while, she felt hopeless, unsure of how to start again, and even moving forward. But she later said, "The storm took things from me, but it didn't take my faith." With support from her community and strength from God, she rebuilt slowly, and today she looks back and sees how God walked with her through every step. Friends, you may be facing setbacks, but you are not facing them alone. God is with you in the waters, and He is already leading you toward restoration, peace, and renewed strength. If you survive the storm, then trust that God will also see you through the recovery. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for your protection and your presence through the storm. Strengthen every person who is rebuilding and comfort every anxious heart. Remind us that you walk with us through deep waters and that your power is greater than any storm. Amen. Thank you for joining us on Daily Reflections. Remember, God is with you today, tomorrow, and through every season. Until next time, I'm Prince Hartley. Stay hopeful and stay blessed.
Thank you so much for that reminder, Prince. Hello, and if you are just joining, welcome to the DCS Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Nicolay Gunn, and this episode is about resilience. We want to encourage you as you move into the exam season. Stay connected. And I mean, as much as you can, because we know how the connection side of things are going recently with the lady that just passed through, Melissa, right? Lean on classmates, lecturers, and friends. Share notes, talk through struggles, and encourage one another. Resilience grows stronger in a community. When you have others to talk to, play games with, when you have others to just sit around you, or just to go on a phone call that you don't say much, but you're there for each other. Yeah, we all need some form of community. Speaking of community, it's time for Community Focus with our host, Kaylee Bennett, who will be conducting a special interview with a student who Hurricane Melissa impacted.
Hello all, and welcome to Community Focus, where we highlight stories and issues affecting our parish. Today, we're sharing the experience of a student whose life was deeply impacted by Hurricane Melissa. With us is Vinasha Simmons, a resilient young woman from St. Elizabeth. She's here to tell us how the storm changed her life. Vinasha, how are you today?
Hi, girl. I'm holding up.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. To begin, how were you personally impacted by Hurricane Melissa?
How was I personally impacted? Well, firstly, the flood waters that came through my community completely cut off my road, and it tore down part of my backyard wall. And so those floodwaters came in crashing and running through our yard, and of course the strong winds destroyed all our fruit trees and washed away some of my father's livestock. So we did have some loss to livestock, and of course no electricity because our GPS poles also crashed and got destroyed in the hurricane.
It must have been very overwhelming.
It was.
What emotional or mental effects have you been dealing with since the hurricane?
Mentally, I've just been trying to keep up and keep positive. Of course, going through that in St. Elizabeth and still not fully recovering, and having to come back and do school and ensure I'm on top of assignments, on top of presentations, getting the work done so that I'm good by the end of the semester. It's really mentally challenging, stressful, overwhelming. So I'm trying to find a balance, but going through that has really had an impact on me.
I feel like us as students can all attest to that.
Yeah.
And as a student, how has your academic life been affected?
Academically, the assignments just seem like they're just getting more and more. But with that pause, during the hurricane time, it really set a lot of us back in terms of getting the assignments done. And of course, at home right now, we still don't have electricity. Mm-hmm. A lot of places in St. Elizabeth has not gotten back light. And of course, the service since the hurricane has been terrible. Mm-hmm. So having to travel to school has been the thing having to travel to school is what I'm doing right now to actually try and get the assignments done. And being to school every day is not only tiring, but also costly. And so right now, my plan is just to try and get all these assignments done, but they have been piling up. But we hope that by the end of this semester, we have gotten everything done, or we'll get everything done.
Hopefully. And did you feel you received enough support during or after the storm from the community, school, or even the authorities?
To be honest, no. I would say the only support I've gotten from the school has been kind words and the mercies of the teachers in terms of submitting the assignments, and probably even lessening the workload as we're trying to come back from the hurricane. To be honest, we've all been affected and we're all still trying each one to reach one. So something that we have done, because a lot of the places near and surrounding us have also been affected, and the authorities and stuff haven't really come in those areas to really share some relief. So what my community has been doing is trying to see how best we can do what we can to clear the road so that we can come in, and also even give back some little care packages to those who we know are also suffering in this time. So while we haven't really gotten as much support, we try as best to give what we can to help support others.
Thank you for sharing that, Vinasha. Your story is a reminder that natural disasters don't just damage buildings, they disrupt lives, dreams, and the stability young people rely on. But it also shows our strength as a community. When we show up for each other, we rebuild faster and stronger. Vinasha, we appreciate your courage in sharing your experience. We wish you and your family continued strength as you recover. You're listening to Community Focus. Stay safe, stay aware, and keep looking out for each other.
Week of excellence, them can't pass without consent. Come out and be proud cause you're magnificent. All of these years full of talent.
Are you ready? On April 2026, Week of Excellence returns with a powerful theme, Gearing Up to Succeed.
Join us April 11 to 15 and 19 for a week designed to challenge, inspire, and elevate your purpose. Dr. Stephen Kaba, Chair of the Department of Communication Studies at Oakwood University, will bring to our church service wisdom, experience, and a message that will ignite your spiritual journey.
Our symposium keynote speaker and breakout session leader, Mr. Stephen Jackson, senior news editor at BBC World Service Bulletins, will come and share global insight, powerful storytelling, and the mindset it takes to succeed on any stage. Mark your calendars.
Don't miss Week of Excellence 2026, April 11 to 15 and 19, as we gear up to succeed.
Week of excellence.
Echoes of Empowerment. Echoes of Empowerment. Welcome back to Echoes of Empowerment. This is the segment where we highlight and celebrate voices that inspire change. I'm your host, Tonian Campbell. Today, in the spotlight, we have with us Dale Thomas, better known as King Dale or just Dale, a man whose story goes far beyond the name. He is a reggae artist from Kingston, Jamaica, whose music mixes soulful melodies and heartfelt storytelling. Dale earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Mass Communication, graduating in 2010 from the Northern Caribbean University. He continues to support his alma mater through community outreach and mentorship. He is a devoted father who also balances life as a musician, gym trainer, and passionate humanitarian. Whether hosting the empowering Pretty Melanin soiree and performing his music, or lending a hand to families after Hurricane Melissa, he continues to uplift his community. Looking forward, loving deeper, that's King Dale at best. To have him here with us, people, is a big deal. Dale Wagwan.
Midday. You alright?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Thanks for taking the time out to be with us today on Echoes of Empowerment.
For sure, Tony, and anything for DCS.
That is it. All right, so let's get into it. So, Dale, what inspired you to choose mass communication as your field of study?
If I'm gonna be 100% transparent, I didn't pass CXE math, and when I went to NC with my mom, we had to try to find something that you didn't really need math for. Now I'm sure by now you need maths to do mass comm, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but at that time you didn't. So that's why I chose mass comm. But it worked out very well because I use it in a very practical way today.
I totally understand. I'm sure a lot of other DCS members probably have been in your shoes in the sense that they probably had to have math and they went back and did it. But thanks for being transparent. So
Yeah,
how
man.
has your mass communication training shaped the way you communicate today?
Well, if you go on my Instagram right now, a lot of the hurricane relief that we're doing is is storytelling. So there's a little boy, for example, that's very popular right now. Aiden, he wanted a bicycle, and just because I was able to tell his story or to have him tell his story, really, because I was just facilitating him in a very clean, clear, and tasteful way, it would have caused for us to one, be able to get in the bicycle that he requested, and two, help me to build a brand or a humanitarian brand just based on storytelling, which is one of the things that I would have learned at DCS.
Whoa, yeah, I remember seeing that story on your Instagram, and I
Mm-hmm.
love how you said storytelling, because I know for persons who are doing TV production, they have to create necessarily a full story per se, but in
Mm-hmm.
producing, the script is basically storytelling.
Yes, it is. It is.
Right. So, what was one of the most valuable skills you would say you learned being a part of this department?
What was one of the most valuable skills I learned? Let me see. So I was on radio. I did my emphasis in radio, and I really enjoyed. Is this interview for a radio broadcasting course?
Yes, it is actually.
Right.
So,
Right.
DCS
So
Chronicles is a podcast.
yeah,
Right.
that's dope. So I used to really enjoy doing the features. So I learned how to edit because of radio broadcasting. This youth named Erwin Garden, big up Erwin every time I'm teaching him to edit. So I could edit my features and not rely on like the DCS engineers, kind of them they edit everybody thing and it take a million years. Um so in my time, so when I still editing the features
Well,
or
for the
yeah, like
most part, we do. For the most part, we
oh,
do.
okay, so yeah man, editing was one of the things I learned. Again, how to put together good stories. So yeah man, just how to tell stories and how to edit them and how to bring across a good radio feature.
Okay, okay. I can relate with that as well when it comes down to the editing. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So we're gonna bring this closer to home, or something more recent. Now, as
Mm-hmm.
we all know, a couple weeks ago, this natural system, as some would say, weather system, came on the
Mm-hmm.
shores of Jamaica, and it was Hurricane Melissa. That's the name they gave it. I don't know why, no, but so
Mm-hmm.
I have seen on your Instagram page and other social media platforms that you have played a major role in relief efforts. I mean, you organized teams, packed care packages, and even opened your doors for support. Now, what inspired you to step up in such a powerful way?
Well, so the first time I went down there, I was looking to find somebody, and when I went and saw the devastation, I was like, "No, I'm gonna fucking go back the next day." So we just kept going and going and going until people started. So I was showing that we're going down there. People started sending us money. People started donating stuff, and then it just grew and grew and grew until right now we have a foundation pretty much. We're in the middle of registering our foundation, Off the Grid Foundation. So, Off the Grid Foundation is about getting to people off the main road. So, that is what we have been doing, getting to the people that are far off the main. Because we realize that everybody's kind of just stopping on the main, open up them truck back or them, whatever them have them trailer and just handing out to everybody that's right there. And those people probably get like every single day. So, yeah, that was always our mission to get to people who were off the grid, off the main roads.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love that. So it's you're going deeper into the community, not necessarily stopping where meets the eye, then, right?
Right, right.
Right, right. Love that, love that. So we're talking about social media platforms, and
Mhm,
I have seen how you were very intentional during the hurricane relief using your social media platform. So
mhm.
how important is it? And I want to hear your perspective. I don't necessarily want the sugar coated perspective, right? So how important is it for creatives and influencers to use their voice to highlight real needs in the country?
I mean, it's the most important thing, because that's how people get to see what you're doing. It's extremely important. We have raised so far over $1 million easily, over $1 million Jamaican. People have sent,
Whoa.
yeah, man, easy, easy, easy. So much so that we can set up hubs. So we have a hub in Mandeville now to service communities in St. Elizabeth and we have a hub in Westmoreland to service the communities in Westmoreland. So I was going on like every day, but then I was like, this doesn't make no sense. So we just, wait until we get a bag of things. People donate a bag of things, and then we buy some things with the money that people send, and we just send on a big truckload of things, and we just say, all right, make that stay there. So people from the communities now incentive to come up, community leaders, some people we trust, and then they bring back down things to the people. So that is how important the social media thing is. Because whenever they show say, boy, he didn't get bicycle and boy, we are going down there every day, and so people wouldn't know what is happening. They wouldn't be able to give. Right now I have over 30 barrels to collect at the wharf. I don't know how I'm going to clear them because it's so much money, but we're gonna start asking people for donate again. Because again, people see what we're doing down here and they believe in it and they send barrels, they send money, they send goods.
I don't know if you're listening to people, but what I'm hearing or what I'm getting from this conversation is it's important for persons to see the real side of things. It's important for persons to show on their social media platforms what's really going on in these communities and how we as the viewers can assist and help.
Mhm.
For sure, for sure. Right. So we're wrapping up and I want you to leave with our listeners. What lesson from the entire Hurricane Melissa experience would you want media students to take away, especially about using their skills, voice, and platform to uplift their communities?
Mm, great question. So tell the stories. That's how you use your skills. Tell the stories in your own way. Because of the training that you get from NCU, you'll be able to do it in a professional way. You'll know what is tasteful. So I use the word tasteful a lot because it's very it's a very sensitive time. You have people saying, you shouldn't be showing what you're doing for others and so on. You should do it from a pure heart. But if you don't tell those stories, then nobody will know what is happening. And you won't be able to activate kindness in people. You won't be able to get donations. And that is what you need to keep going. So use the experience from DCS and what you're learning there to tell the stories in your own very real and human way. Connect with people and you'll be okay.
Such a beautiful gem to end the show with today. Thank you so much for joining us in Echoes of Empowerment. And special thanks to you, Adil, for joining us today in studio. Really appreciate it.
You're most welcome, my dear. Thanks for having me.
And, I'm sure that the words that you have shared with us will inspire many, and we will utilize what we have learned even in our own future professions. And to our
Great.
listeners, thank you for spending some time with us in Echoes of Empowerment. I was your host, Tonian Campbell. Stay tuned for the next segment of DCS Chronicles. And remember, no matter where life leads you, communication is a tool that can inspire, mobilize, and transform communities.
Hello, my name is Adisa Smith, and welcome to The Storm Inside. Today, we take a closer look at the emotional aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, a storm that shook not only our island but also the mental well being of many students here at NCU. To help us understand this better, we're joined by psychology student Tajay Mitchell, who will walk us through the mental impact of experiencing a Category 5 hurricane. Welcome, Tajay.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I understand you'll be walking us through the mental impact of experiencing a Category 5 hurricane. So, from your perspective, how can a hurricane as intense as Melissa affect students mentally and emotionally?
Well, for a hurricane such as Melissa, for a lot of students, a lot of us has never experienced such devastation that has affected not just us, but our friends and our family. And so this takes a very big hit to our mental health as it relates to just coping. A lot of people are dealing with loss right now. And so with loss, there's grief, there's wanting to get it back, there's possibly not being able to. It really takes a toll on our mental health because the destruction and the exposure that we have seeing others, you're not able to share your story properly. And for lots of people, they experience shame to be going through this period of time.
That brings me to my next question, where some DCS students said that they felt anxious and uneasy long after the storm had passed. What I wanted to ask is, what causes these lingering fear or stress?
That's what trauma does to you. It does not just happen and then it leaves. It stays within your mind. Thinking about it alone is enough to have that lingering fear or stress. And then the fact that it could happen again. Hurricane Melissa, it was sudden. I mean, it took its time when it got close to the island, but it just happened, and no one really knew the impact that it would have. And so now it's like you're living in a state of flight or fight because you're not sure what the next disaster could be. Beryl came last year and it did its damage, and now Melissa's here this year. So what's going to come next is what a lot of people are thinking about. And so they are now living with that fear of what's going to happen next, first of all, with their own lives, whether or not their homes were damaged or roofs were lifted, or what's going to happen with their academics.
How exactly can academic pressure affect students who are already dealing with trauma from a natural disaster?
Well, Hurricane Melissa affected the island in a time that is very close to when all of these students have a lot of assignments to do and work to do. And the thing is with trauma, when one issue presents itself, all other issues that you have are now resurfacing and it's more prominent, and they have a lot of work to do because they missed 2 to 3 weeks of school. A lot of them don't have internet connection, etc. And so at this very moment, they are faced with having to do all of that on top with their own trauma.
So, what are some healthy coping strategies that students can use to regain emotional balance after experiencing a traumatic storm, and how can departments like DCS support those students?
So students can practice grounding techniques in coming back to reality and being taken back to what the now and not thinking too much on Melissa. So they need to have groups that they're able to get with to talk about their trauma, and there's counseling that is available for a lot of them. It's really about taking their minds off what happened and really being resilient and overcoming that. And for departments such as DCS, they're able to support in showing the students that, hey, amidst what happened, things do get better.
Thank you so much, Tajay, for helping bringing light to this situation. Hurricane Melissa tested us in many ways, not just physically, but mentally. We encourage anyone still feeling the emotional effects of the hurricane to reach out, speak with someone, and get support. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for sharing, Adissa. For our next set of tips, care for your mind and body. Eat well, drink water, and rest. You can't pour from an empty cup. I think we all know that saying, can't pour from an empty cup, right? And success needs fuel, because we know that we will be successful no matter what. We know it. So remember your why. Every single time, remember your why. Every late night, every early morning, every challenge you face is building your future. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture. And now we hit a pause to shed some light on a talented individual from the Department of Communication Studies in the feature Backstory. Let's go over there.
DCS, we are the best. And we stand by that. Welcome to Backstory, where we highlight our talented superstars in the Department of Communication Studies. I'm your host, Patrice Kisoon, and today we are privileged to have in the studio media practitioner turned nail tech on the block, Kyra Edwards. Hey girl, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. And it's a pleasure to have you. Now, let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about your talents and how they have been making room for you.
Well, my talent as a certified nail tech.
Right. Yes. No? Right.
As a certified nail tech, I started doing nails last year, December, and what really made me want to do nails really and truly was I was scrolling on TikTok, and every minute I kept getting these DIY, how to do this with your nails, this and that. I was like, is this a sign? And I took the sign and I said, okay, I'm going to try this. And I did it. I went ahead and I did it.
Wow, great. I love that. Now, not only is your talent making room for you, but it's a service you've been providing to your community, inclusive of DCSs. So, how do you feel about this and the fact that people are out here clocking it with your art on their fingers?
I love it, because when you get your nails done, you feel happy. You feel, feel girly.
Yes.
Yeah, your whole mood is up. It's just a pampering session. I love making people smile. I love when I'm finished with a set, they're like, oh my God, these are so pretty. I'm obsessed. Yes. That is what keeps me going and keeps me to push to continue doing nails.
Great stuff. I love that. Now, I'm giving you an unexpected question, Carol. If you were supposed to have another talent, what would it be and why?
Honestly, I would love to sing, I wish I was a singer.
To sing?
Because it's just such a beautiful talent to have. I wish I was singing my heart out, but boy, God never blessed me with that, so that's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Right, not everybody can be, Whitney Houston's and what are the singers out there?
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande's, right. Some of us.
I know.
Right, but you have a skill now that you're able to, in some way still feel like you're still making the impact of, a singer just the same. Because when people sing, it's music and it makes people feel good, and you do nails and that makes people feel good. So I guess it's the same thing. So yes, you got it, folks. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, Miss Edwards, for being a part of today's backstory episode. And thank you to all our lovely listeners who tuned in. I encourage you to join us next time for more talent highlights from the Department of Communication Studies. Until then, I'm your host, Patrice Kisoon. Drink water, stay healthy, and remember to always give your best.
In a world connected by screens, where actions online have real-life consequences, think twice, post once. Be mindful online. Your words matter. Negative interaction can impact someone's mental health. But positive is powerful. Choose encouragement. Spread kindness. Your action shapes the online world. Be the reason someone smiles.
If Hurricane Melissa taught us anything, it's that storms, both literal and figurative, don't stop us. They shape us. And this season you're in, it's shaping you into someone stronger, more focused, and ready for whatever comes. As I've been saying, we're resilient. We'll get over it. We'll look back probably in 5-10 years and say, really? It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Yeah? I know it's crazy to say no, but that will be the case sometime later. Yeah? So as we prepare for exams and cross the finish line of this semester, let's honor that resilience. Take a deep breath, reset, and move forward with purpose. Yeah? Let's hear from Genius Gems with Jada Jackson.
Welcome to Genius Gems, your spark of brilliance and boldness. I'm Jada Jackson, and today, instead of a checklist or lecture, I've put together a poetic guide, a mix of rhyme, rhythm, and real talk to help you not just survive, but shine through university life. And the word we're holding onto is resilience. Here's an acronym for you. R. Rise above the storm. The winds may have blown, the waters may have raged, but we rise unbroken, stepping onto a new stage. E. Embrace change with courage. University life shifts just like the skies. Embrace the unknown. Let your spirit rise. S. Stay strong in spirit. Strength isn't just muscle, it's heart and it's mind. It's choosing to hope when the world feels unkind. I. Inspire yourself and others. Your story sparks light. Your journey inspires, fueling classmates and friends with your inner fires. L. Learn from every challenge. Every setback's a lesson. Every trial a teacher. Knowledge is deeper when struggles the feature. I. Ignite hope daily. Hope is a candle, small but profound. Ignite it each morning. Let its flame resound. E. Empower your community. Together we rebuild. Together we stand. Empower each other with a helping hand. N. Navigate setbacks with wisdom. Detours will come, the path may twist. Navigate with wisdom, persistence, and grit. C. Create new possibilities. Creativity heals. It opens the door to future imagined, to dreams we restore. E. Endure, excel, and evolve. Endure through the struggle. Excel in your lane. Evolve into brilliance. Let resilience remain. So when the semester feels heavy, when the storm echoes loud, remember resilience. Wear it proud. Rise, embrace, stay strong, inspire, learn, ignite, empower, navigate, create, endure. That's our anthem, or rhythm, or cure. We're not just surviving, we're shining, we're bold. This is Genius Gems, and your brilliance is gold.
Every setback, a lesson. Every trial, a teacher. I want to thank you so much, Jada, for sharing that. It's such a great way to end the show. This is Nicolay Gunn reminding you, you've survived the storm, and now you will finish strong. See you next month for another episode of the DCS Chronicles podcast. Remember, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. That was a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Later.